gonna have to remember some of the dumb things. My brain is so mush lately. It's
What
the
was it
Yeah, I
that
can
pandemic.
happened in
empathize with
my
that.
class?
Oh wait,
We were doing the lab and someone screamed or something. Do you remember that? It was with
Were you in the class, Ethan, where I had a couple of like a group of three girls that none of them knew what the hell they were doing, and one
probably, I
ended up
think I knew
like
exactly who you're talking about.
one tried to catch, so like accidentally almost caught the stuff on fire because yeah.
good
Yeah.
I think
lord.
so.
I guess I should address everybody. This is episode 5. We are back on the wagon, hopefully consistently, and we have the esteemed, illustrious Mr. Todd Wagner, chemistry teacher, Redlands High School. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
to the show.
I'll just preface my appearance here to make sure that all opinions and things expressed out of my mouth are simply of my own and do not reflect RUSD, its employees, its stakeholders, its staff, or its students in any way, shape, or form. So I am disconnected from RUSD. I'm not representing them. I am just a human being.
That's actually really good that you had that prepared. And
I didn't.
Oh,
I just came up with.
off the cuff. All right, we're off to a great start then. And we would like to enforce that this does not reflect the opinions of the low orbit staff, which is just
That
me
is
and
right.
Ethan. But, you know, I am noticing, are the hairs graying? I don't mean to call
Oh.
that out, but I don't know if it's the
No,
lighting.
go right ahead. See, when I had you as a student, God, I want to say that was like 5 years ago. Honestly,
Must have
somewhere in
been.
that range. Because I'm going on. This is my 10th year of teaching. I've been teaching at
Wow.
Redlands
That
for
makes
7
sense.
years. So yeah. And when I had you as a student, Aaron, I did not have grays because I was
Right.
just recently married, not even thinking about kids, blah blah blah.
Life was better.
And then when I had Cambria as a student instructor, then it all started to go downhill quickly, just
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
No, that's when I had my kid, and I like to call these patches of gray that are coming in wisdom. Wisdom.
It doesn't look bad,
with
though.
age. Well, I appreciate that. I think maybe during Cambria's year, I actually colored my hair. I've been putting
Oh.
a little, touch of gray in, or whatever the heck it's called, to get rid of the touch of gray. But then with Ethan's class that came in, I just started developing a bald spot back here.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm
no.
just kidding. No, so yeah, I'm getting old. I'm 40. I'm 40 now.
Wow, you don't look it. It seems that God
Really
or
don't.
whatever powers may be are on your side.
Thank you. It's just the glam up that I did with the camera. It's
Ah,
just
the auto enhance.
Yeah,
That
right,
whole
right.
thing. Oh, looks like
Yeah.
he's coming back.
Well, I mean, if you want to, when Ethan comes back, we can go back and say the third date. See, there he is. Look at there's
Wow,
that face
welcome
again.
Is
back.
that just me? That happened?
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
just
you,
you,
man.
buddy.
Oh yeah, you guys froze and then Zoom just shut down.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
Your face
Oh,
froze
Lord.
like this,
Of course it did.
which was really, really
Of course it
nice.
did.
I mean, really, something to look at. But it's all your guys' call on this one. If you want to edit that section out, we can go with the third day, whatever that day was. What was it?
Mad Hatter Day? I don't.
Garlic.
There's no.
Mad Hatter Day. There's actually something good there. There's some chemistry there. So if you want to bring that up again, then we can just kind of go from there.
There's no description on here.
Oh,
so
wait.
if you know.
Hold on, our
Oh.
custodian's coming in right now to change some things. So let us not go. You're. Oh, never mind. He ran.
They're gone.
He's all, bye. I gotta go.
And I'll tell you something
yeah.
else. That's gonna make it in for sure.
Yeah, that could be the intro.
That's gonna be in here. You're talking like you know something about Mad Hatter Day that we don't. Chemistry?
Well, do you know? Yeah, it's chemistry based. Do you know why the term Mad Hatter, what it actually applies to?
I have Alice in Wonderland. That's the only connection I'm making.
Yes, but there is a historical context to this as well. people who used to, and forgive me, audience, if I'm ever so slightly off on this, but to the best of my recollection, when it comes down to it, people that used to make hats had to work with mercury. And because mercury is a psychologically or a brain damaging type of chemical in certain doses, then they used to go mad from the mercury. Now, I'm not sure exactly why they were using mercury to work with hats. I could go look it up if I cared that much, but there is a chemistry connection there. It was the mercury that they were exposed to that would make them mad. There, see, look, Ethan's on it. He's typing away. He's going to tell us why exactly the mercury was used in hat production.
He has been our resident researcher. When we were recording last episode, he wanted to make sure we were very politically correct. We were talking about Yom Kippur or Kippur. I don't know how to pronounce it.
That's the second one, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, that's why he looked it up.
Okay, I got it.
Please enlighten us.
So it says here, the origin of the phrase, it's believed, is that hatters really did go mad. The chemicals used in hat making included mercurous nitrate, which was used in curing the felt that they would use for hats. And prolonged exposure to the mercury vapors caused the poisoning.
Wow. You learn something new every day.
Yes.
And knowing's half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle. German American Day.
Wait.
Hey!
Oh! You are, aren't you?
Wait, I thought you guys were German, of just German descent as well.
Oh,
We are
I don't
Spanish,
know.
good sir.
I mean, probably if
Wait,
I just had to guess on my skin
I know
tone.
Madrid is Spanish, but I mean, I thought, for some reason, I thought one of you said like, oh yeah, I had an uncle that served in the war, like on the side.
That was me. He served in the war on the American side, but he had German medals from people he killed in battle.
There we go. Because when you brought that up to me, Ethan, I was like, you probably shouldn't say that out loud. Probably still too soon.
Yeah, no, he was on our side.
I had an uncle in the war. He fell off the guard tower. Like, oh, that's a horrible thing.
American uncle.
So, American uncle.
Yes.
Okay. So there, you don't have German. You are not from German descent. I'm the only one that can celebrate this day.
But, and for the record, you don't have, to your knowledge, immediate relatives in the German army, or who were in the German army, do you?
No. Actually, I'm a fifth generation, fourth or fifth generation German, and yeah, I have no connection to even the second generation German that came over. So I have no connection whatsoever.
Probably better that way.
But I was a little envious of what Ethan showed me, because I mean, as horrible as that war was, that was pretty cool that you had something that had the insignia on it that you could, show to younger generations and be like, let's not repeat these horrible mistakes.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's National Coaches Day, but coaches, who needs them helping our kids to become good sports and
yeah, I mean, better people, team players.
We don't need that. We don't need that. Sports are canceled anyway.
Maybe what this could expand to life coaches. Just because sports do teach us quite a bit, right? I'm not the hugest fan of sports. I'm all nerd, but ultimately they do teach all kinds of people all kinds of things in terms of teamwork and whatnot. And then you have life coaches, so hooray, coaches, good job.
Yeah, you know what? We'll celebrate the coaches. Life coaches, all coaches. We don't discriminate on this show.
Could you consider a therapist a brain coach?
Ooh.
No. I think brain coach is like that feels like you're trying to train your intellect to do something specific. And I feel like a therapist is just trying to work with you for, well, what do I know? But that thought just ran into the ground. I don't know. You could be right. I don't know.
I would consider a therapist a brain coach, because what they're doing is they're taking someone from their current state, much like an amateur amateur athlete, and trying to fine-tune their skills by making them aware of it so that they can build upon those and make them better in many different ways, and then ultimately produce someone who is not only highly functional but contributive to society in terms of their realm. So yeah, I would totally go with that, Ethan, your brain coach.
Don't go with my answer. That was a mistake to have even come out of my mouth. Let's just clear the air with that one right there.
Would you celebrate birthing coaches as well today? I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, that's an easier answer. I don't know why. I don't know why I have such trouble discerning like a therapist being a coach. I just feel like they're different categories. But clearly I was in the wrong with that one. That was a very well articulated answer. So I'm not going to compete with it.
I got a few years on you, just a couple.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I do. My hair's still very dark and rich.
Yeah, just rub it in while you're at it, Aaron.
I'm good
It's
at that.
okay. His hair
So-
isn't gonna last much longer.
Oh, you know what? My dad's bald, so
Wait. That question. Oh wait, your hair's not going to last much longer because your dad's bald.
that's what Ethan said to me, and so I'm afraid it's in the genes. But I'm hoping it's not.
He has very thin hair.
Genes with a G.
Yeah.
And also, those genes are on your mother's side. It's your mom's dad. It's your maternal grandfather that you have to look at those genes.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
I
he was
remember.
bald too.
He's bald too.
That's the guy, right?
Wow, you just ran right to the end of that one, Ethan. Good job. Just
Thanks,
oh, he's
man.
bald. Yeah, you're screwed.
All right. Well, so
Yeah, you're gonna be bald. Sorry,
I'm
Aaron.
gonna be
Just
bald.
enjoy.
so it doesn't
Yeah,
even matter
thick
if I
hair.
make fun of your gray hair because you have hair and the gray works. so great. I'm real excited for that one. Let's get to the beef of the show. The podcast that you did listen to, where we discussed this. Sometimes I lay in bed at night and I have moments that I don't really care about the high school era. Like, I'm moved on from that. I'm living my life. But there are two moments that sometimes keep me up at night to this day. And that's not a comedy bit. Sometimes I'm trying to sleep and I think, oh God, why did I do that? And the first one was, I don't remember if you, I don't know if you remember a Latin teacher there, Salvaggio. I don't know if he's there anymore.
He's not.
But
If they're not in science or math, unfortunately, I don't know them very well, just because those are the only ones that I kind of associate with here.
right.
Mostly science, but yeah, no, I don't remember the Latin teacher.
Well, he taught Latin. I was in his class, and when I was a senior, I could have a free period, but it wouldn't have worked for me because I wouldn't have anyone to take me to school later or to pick me up if I got out early. So I was like, well, let me find someone to TA for. And first semester, the only person that was available was Salvaggio, and he was fine. I just had to do something with that empty period, so I was like, let me TA for this guy. And I went to get the TA slip from the office, and I walked into his classroom while class was in session, and he stopped and turned to me and greeted me. And
Hopefully in Latin, all Latin, right?
I was not that good, and he knew that.
Man.
He had to roll with the. We don't call this low orbit for no reason. We're really just. But so I have the TA slip, which was just for me. It was like a copy for my records. And he saw it in my hand, and so he held his hand out. The whole classroom is watching us. Everyone is silent.
Oh no.
He held out his hand for the slip, and I just went in for the shake, and he wasn't expecting it, so it was just like a soft limp, and he's giving me this look like. And I do this. I go, oh yeah, this isn't. And I go, okay, well, I gotta take this back to the office. And, I mean, I try not to let the opinions of others, especially my younger peers, get to me, but all eyes were on me, and I was sweating bullets. Anyway, that's really just an interlude to the second moment, which was when me and Mike came into your class. I don't even remember what we did. I think we were in the library just goofing around maybe. And there was some real studying going on, just to be clear. but then we started goofing around. We came to your class asking for you to write us a pass. Do you remember this at all?
Mm, yes.
We came in
It was
and
like after class had started, you kind
yeah.
of wandered in, and I was in my usual class teaching mode of like, let me power through this stuff. And you guys kind of come stumbling in. You weren't as awkward as you just described in the Latin, you know,
Incident. Yeah.
conversation
Thank
incident.
God.
Yeah.
Um, I,
But
we the whole way up, I was telling Mike, you need to say this thing. Just say this thing. That's it, and we'll be fine. And he was nervous as all hell. And we came in, and he comes in and he stutters and he says his thing, and you clearly see under the facade, and you go, "Don't let it happen again," or something to that effect, or "Don't
because
do
I
this
had Mike as
again."
a student at that time for anatomy physiology.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
then, yeah, he was my student at the time for anatomy physiology. So obviously I recognized you, and I recognized
Mm.
both of you when you were in there. And then he just kind of stumbles over what he's trying to say. And
Yeah.
even if professionals come into my room while I'm teaching, I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm in the middle of what I do best. This is my craft. Like, leave me be. So he's stumbling over what he's trying to do, and I just instantly realized you guys were just looking for a pass to get into class so that you weren't considered tardy when
Yes.
tardiness was still a thing, unlike distance learning.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that's why it was like, okay, you done screwed up. Let me write this pass real quick, regrettingly signing my name to a piece of paper. So another teacher's like, who's this Wagner guy and why is he writing kids' passes? So I'm like, don't do it again. And you both ran out.
Yeah, it haunted me for a long time. I go, God, I just shouldn't have done that. And so that being said, I mean, you had to have had at least one moment like that. Do you recall your high school experience at all?
Oh, uh, it's funny that you asked this question because I recently lost a college girlfriend. I went to I found out through the grapevine of people that I'm connected with that a girlfriend that I had in college had passed away.
Hmm.
And I was instantly like, wait a minute, that person is my age. And they passed away for unknown reasons. So I was like, that's super dodgy. People don't just die, especially
Right.
at this age, right? At my age, I should say. So, I, being an ex-girlfriend from a long time ago, and being the person that I was in college, I seriously questioned whether or not I should attend the funeral to pay my respects. And there's a point to this story. It's that when we look back at what we've done in life, the things that we tend to focus on are not the minutia that the day in day out randomness, right? It's the things that kind of float to the surface. And what I found, I ended up going to the funeral and just kind of swallowing my pride. And I asked a couple people, should I go? Is that appropriate? I don't even remember about me why we broke up. I have no idea, type of thing. And so I asked a couple of her sorority sisters and a couple of my old fraternity brothers. I was like, would you, if you're in my shoes, would you do this? And they're like, yeah, no big deal, just go. And so I went, and I was talking to a few of her, very few, surprisingly, of her sorority sisters that showed up. And the conversation pretty much boiled down to the reason why they were there as well was because of regrets that they had in terms of interactions that they had with her, the deceased, or and not necessarily to celebrate her life, but more or less for themselves to kind of get over that regret. Now, this is a big difference from your regrets that you're bringing up from
Yeah.
high school, right? But ultimately, what I realize is that what we take with us, at least at this age, at 40, I'm realizing what we mostly hold on to are regrets, and love. And it's funny because the love very much outweighs the regrets. And I realized because talking to all those people that were at those few people that were at the funeral. Again, it wasn't for her to celebrate her life, the deceased. It was to kind of get rid of those regrets, and so ultimately, it's kind of yeah, we all do dumb crap. Like really, we're human beings. We're super fallible. In the big scheme of things, it's the way we treat each other that we hold on to. And I kind of started thinking about my own mortality in the way of like, okay, well, when I hit 50, 60, 70, I'm pretty much going to survive until about 60. That's how my family goes. So I'm thinking I got 20 years, roughly. And so when it comes down to it, when I get to my deathbed, I don't want to look back at those regrets. I don't want to keep them with me that long. I would like to look back at the love that I was able to kind of share with humanity and the world in any way, shape, or form. So I had I kind of had one more regret that I had from high school, back into high school. I went to a very different type of high school. It wasn't a public high school. It was a boarding, college preparatory, private high school.
Okay.
And a very different type of environment, but an awesome one. Like I will never talk trash on that experience. It was actually what made me the person that I am today with my hard work and whatnot. But I had a roommate, or not a roommate, I had someone who lived in my dorm right next to me who befriended me, and he was just kind of annoying. And I was not the nicest of people when I was that age. Like kids just aren't. Right. And so I was just kind of a jerk to him repeatedly. And all he did was like just tried to be my friend the entire time. So I had many occurrences that I thought back to of like, man, I just totally screwed that guy over and over and over again. And this is one of those regrets that I am taking with me until at this age. I still have that locked in my brain. And so like one time I remember filling a 50-gallon trash can up with water and leaning it against his door so that as soon as he opened it in the morning, all his entire room was flooded.
No.
Yeah, just pranks that were immature and ill-timed and not for that type of person who was trying to be a lovely person. I ended up seeing this guy after the funeral. After I've had all these thoughts in my head, I end up seeing this guy randomly. Like, talk about worlds collide, coming together, a small world, right? I'm walking through IKEA, and I had thought about it before, and I was like, if I ever see that guy again, first words out of my mouth are going to be, I'm sorry. Like, I just want to get that. He's one of the only people on my list of regrets, the people that I've screwed over throughout my entire existence, or just weird circumstances that I want to kind of have a clean slate with. So I thought first words out of my mouth were going to be, I'm sorry, this is how I treated you in high school, and this is how I shouldn't have, and you were an amazing person. Well, I'm with my wife and my kid, and we're in IKEA, and here comes, I don't even see him. I'm just walking around, pay attention to my kid, pretty much. Oh.
Did that come up for you guys too?
Unlimited minutes. I don't even know what just happened.
Zoom just said, we're not going to do the 40-minute limit. Funny that they wait until in the middle of the conversation to do that, to try and get you to buy one first. But hey,
it's weird.
Gotta make money.
But I'm walking through IKEA and I hear Wagner. I look and I see the guy, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm so dumbfounded by the fact that I've actually run into this individual, because I've had no contact with him since high school graduation. We're talking 1998, so it's a long time. And so I see him, and I'm just so dumbfounded that I didn't even get out what I wanted to say. I never said I was sorry. I never apologized for that, for those circumstances. I ended up finding him on Facebook and sending him, like, you know how you can send people messages on Facebook? You never know if they're going to see them or not because they don't go check those random people messages type thing. I know Facebook's an old person thing, but I'm an old person. So so I see him on Facebook, and I tap off this massive message to him, and he never replies. Goes like 2 months go by. And the message was kind of like the same thing, apologizing what I should have said, all these types of things. And finally I get a reply saying, oh man, I thought I replied to this a long time ago. That was in high school. Yeah, we all screw up. No worries. Here's my phone number. Let's hang out. And like that, it kind of floored me for a second there, because like I was the one hanging on to all this, and he was just like, yeah, no worries, that's all fine. So things that happen in high school, things that happen in your guys' lives that's coming up, there are going to be situations that you regret, obviously. The funny, weird ones, hold those until the day you die, because those are just fun to look back on. But the true regrets, where you did something wrong and you know it, what I'd suggest you do is, if you when you do this, because we're all going to do it, we're human. When you do this, swallow your pride, tuck your tail, go and apologize right away. So you're not carrying those regrets with you for the long term, for 15, 20 years, 25 years, and then realizing like that didn't really matter to that person. So just let it wash, let it go, and fix your wrongs as soon as possible.
I think that is sage, sound advice. I think that's probably the best just conversation that has been had on this little show
Yeah, this just turned into a wisdom
so
session.
far, which is good, which is great, you know. On the offshoot that this ends up gaining any sort of traction, I think that's a good message to put out there to anyone. I think a lot of people have a hard time realizing what you just said, what you have apparently realized, and it's good to act on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what was the Beatles, John Lennon, who said, roughly, I'm paraphrasing this, the love you take is the love you make, something around those. Ethan, Beatles, John Lennon, come on, get
here
on
we
it.
go.
Look up the quote.
He's just
Rattle it off, boy.
But yeah, it was something along those lines of, the love that you take out of this world is the love that you kind of put into this world, and especially during, oh my God, these times. These times are rough. Like,
Absolutely.
This year is an absolute trash heap that is just, no one wants to go through it. The divisiveness and the finger pointing and the outrage and the media and just anything that you think about. Ethan, what is it?
So it's, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make.
There it is. Wow, I actually got that kind of close. So yeah, I mean, ultimately what we need to focus on, I think, as a species, is the humanity that we need to propagate and to I don't know, to raise back up, because I think a lot of us have lost that humanity. And so realize everyone's fallible, forgive them, forgive yourself for what you do, but ultimately start every day trying to actually make someone else's day a little bit better. And it's crazy how much better your day gets when that happens.
Well, I tend to think that most people do not have this whole life thing figured out, and those who act like they do are just acting like they do. But it seems like you kind of got it figured out. Do you feel like no?
Not at all. No.
Well,
no, it's again, at this age I'm doing a lot of thinking about it, right? And I thought, in my 20s I was super passionate and pissed off. And I wanted the world to change. And I was willing to do whatever it took to change. That's actually why I left to Australia and I started traveling the world for 3 years. Is because I told everyone, if we elect President Bush, the second one, George W. Bush, in a second time, then I don't want to be surrounded by those types of people who would do that. So I'm leaving the country. So I put my money where my mouth is, and I left the country for 3 years, and it was fan-frickin-tastic. And I came back to do the next set of elections. Now, that was my 20s. My 30s, I was focused more on others than myself, as best as possible, trying to simultaneously establish my own life and then and help others. So teaching, right? And now in my 40s, I'm looking back at it and I'm tired.
Right.
Like I'm just tired. when it comes down to it. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, I'm tired because this has just been an absolute crap show that's been forced upon us every single day. So I don't have the stamina that I used to fight the good fight. All I can do is try to think about it and kind of step out and remove myself from it and really look at both sides of things. As a matter of fact, this year I might I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It's up to the students. But if there was any year that I was actually going to be elected to give a commencement speech, it would be this year. Because 2 years ago I had a lot of students that really enjoyed, that I really enjoyed, and that really enjoyed me, and now they're all seniors, and they're the ones who get to vote on this. And what the major topic of my speech that I've already started writing is that there's a lot more gray in the world than there is black or white. As a matter of fact, it's all gray. It's all based on perspective. It's all subjective. Once you walk in someone's shoes, then you can really understand where they're coming from. So the preconceived notions, the judgment, the visceral reactions, all of these things, we just need to step back and just try to see it from another perspective as best as possible to kind of take away the divisiveness that is all around us. So no, and a wise man ultimately admits he knows nothing. So I don't, I'm trying to be wise, and I know very little. I think I thought I knew a lot more when I was 20, and now that I'm 40, I'm like, I don't have this figured out at all. I'm just going day by day. Like I'm just a brand new parent ultimately. I'm just still trying to figure stuff out to give my kid.
I'm actually kind of astounded at how much I have found myself agreeing with a lot of, pretty much everything that you just said. I'm like, oh yeah, I get that, and it's actually a pretty fantastic segue into this next topic. Are you still good for time?
Yeah, I got about 10 more minutes.
Okay, so we'll try and do this one pretty quick. You touched on it pretty heavily, but your philosophy of life, what's it all about, the meaning of it. I personally, I have a lot of trouble with this question. I want to do astrophysics. The plan is to turn around and teach it. I think I have decided on that. But
congratulations.
Thank you very much. It just seems that, like, I have trouble attaching any real meaning to most of existence, I think, because it's just, to me, when I think about it, it's just this weird accident. These whatever has led us here, we're just atoms that woke up. It's just the chaos of the universe. We're gonna turn to dust just like the Earth will, just like the solar system will, and till everything cools down and all the stars go out. We're just a little spot in this thing. And so it sounds like campy and cliche to say, because in my 20s it seems very common, but this idea of nihilism is not like an appealing thing for me, but it seemed like just the answer of this question, whether I like the answer or not. It just seems that objectively, you said, going back to what you said, everything is subjective. In the human experience, all these little things, politics, whatever, is all just perception to the human. But ultimately, what is the human? It's when you remove subjectivity from it, like, of course there's no inherent meaning. We're just a byproduct of reactions and chemistry. And we are no different than, I don't know, some strange astronomical gravitational anomaly millions of light years away. We're just our atoms are just arranged differently. So that was a little bit of a tirade. But with that in mind, what I try to do is, this answer that, or what seems to, at least right now in my life, seems to be this answer, whether I like it or not. So if I'm aware that this is kind of a silly, like existence just always seems silly and weird and funny, if nothing else. And so, well, if I'm aware of it, then what I should do while I'm around is just try to, add little bits of happiness to other people, because they're obviously very concerned with this day to day, getting to work on time and satisfying relationships and all this stuff. And for me, like I said, I have trouble attaching myself to any of that. So I'm just kind of drifting through, hoping to lend a hand if I can. But also very much just confused about the nature of existence. That is my take on things. I mean, is that silly? Is that just a 20s thing? Is that a phase that I'm sure to grow out of? What are your thoughts on that?
I'd actually be interested to hear what Ethan's perspective on life is, outtake on the purpose of it, because there's an age difference between you two.
Yeah.
So you might get a slightly different perspective, which you're obviously going to get a different perspective from me in my 40s, and we'd get a different perspective from someone in their 60s and in their 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ethan, I'm interested, before I respond, to hear what you have to say.
Well, I've definitely like thought about things the same way Aaron has. Like just the general questioning everything, how does it work? Why does it work? But what I find myself doing is I'll have like small moments where I'll just sit there and I'll think about stuff, like trying to make sense of it. But like how Aaron, you've like gone on with it as like how you said how you live your life. I find that I'm not able to keep a coherent grasp on those ideas of like nothing matters. Like I think of it and I understand that we are basically nothing in the universe, but I can't find myself to stay with it, and it's more of just me kind of just going day to day living life instead.
That's a good answer.
So I think it's all a matter of scale.
Hmm.
In terms of, if you take the nihilistic approach of we're just big sacks of carbon that are eventually going to return to to the earth as atoms and be recycled because of the conservation of matter, right? Then yeah, we are. If you're looking at more than just a human life, if you're looking at, I don't know, a universal timescale, or how long the galaxy has been around, or even a geological timescale, how long it takes tectonic plates to move. These are all very large scales, and when you zoom that far out, it's hard to see the fine detail. But it's the fine detail that actually makes life meaningful. Like, think about this. If you zoom all the way into how my child looks at me as her father, then everything I do, every word that comes out of my mouth, every reaction, whether it be good or bad, has a massive effect on her. So but if you zoom, like I said, all the way back out to that trying to look at that interaction that I've had with my kid from a very, very far perspective in terms of geological time or something like this, then it has no consequence whatsoever and doesn't matter, because she's just a big sack of carbon that her atoms are going to return to the earth and whatnot just the same. So it all depends on scale. So, and I think ultimately my perspective it comes down again to the humanity of those tiny interactions that we have. because much like the butterfly effect, those affect, I mean, that does send ripples of cause and effect all the way down the line,
Oh,
from just,
absolutely.
from being a decent person in line to that person then going and realizing like, hey, my day is bad, but this person just treated me like gold, and I should do the same for someone else. um I think when we zoom so far out, we tend to be very nihilistic, and that is doing us as humanity a disservice, because there is a lot to us that we have to contribute to each other and to this planet, ultimately. So, philosophy of life is boils down to try not to let the day-to-day occurrences become mundane, but instead find even the silver linings to the clouds. Try to keep that positive perspective as best as possible, and also try to, I'm looking for the word, my brain's not coming up with it, but try to make sure to push that onto other people at the same time, of that type of positivity. I'm not saying, laugh and enjoy while your house is burning down. I'm just saying, it's the tiny occurrences in life that we need to maybe focus more on, instead of the don't pay attention, pay the rent type of mentality that a lot of us have in this country and all around the world. Just keep going, put one foot in front of the other, go pay your bills, make sure you pay your taxes, make sure all the way to the end, and then you die. So all of that is, to me, is meaningless.
Hmm.
And the way our society, especially American society, has changed to be so involved with celebrities and media and all this stuff that is non-contributors to society.
It's gross.
This is just, it is gross to me. And I was thinking the other day about sports, and how I was probably, I was thinking about putting something about sports into my speech. And I thought, normally I talk trash on sports. Like, why would you sit around all day long watching someone else do something? Well, maybe because you've already done all the stuff that you need to do, and that brings you joy. And who am I to question what brings you joy? Now, if you're sitting around not taking care of your responsibilities and like taking care of your family, and just kind of zoning out on the television, watching other people play sports, well, then you're a disservice to humanity, right? To society. But if you've already taken care of everything and you just want to sit down and crack a beer and watch a game, cool, you do you, boo. As long as you're doing it right. As long as you're trying to make the world a better place and you're making yourself happy. Mental health is a big deal right now.
Oh yeah.
So doing those little things that make us mentally healthy and help to establish mental health in other people, literally like this interview right now, I think it's absolutely necessary. And so my philosophy of life is keep giving, and focus on those little interactions, just like establishing relationships with students. Because think about this, Aaron, what, I haven't taught you in 5 years?
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Ballpark,
But I know
yeah.
exactly what's going on with your life still. And I keep in touch to see what's going on with your life, because I like to celebrate your success. And you know what? When you fall down and things go wrong, as life will happen, I like to celebrate the fact that you get yourself back up, you brush yourself off, you ask for help when you need it, and you keep going. And that's what truly life is about, is celebrating each other instead of ripping each other apart, because of a continual societal pissing contest.
I think that's brilliant advice. I, I mean, at a time where we really need to hear something like that too. Um, yeah, I just feel like, obviously, I don't mean to toot your horn here, but I clearly respect you very much as a teacher, and yeah, I think just the what you have to say about the way life should be lived, and what really counts has just heightened that respect by at least a half point or so.
Well,
But thank you for sharing. Thank you for being on. I take it you got about ready to head out here.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna walk home and go pick up my child, and then get rid of all the bleh from work,
Yeah.
and start focusing on those tiny little things like watching the fish in her fish tank, and maybe I can teach her something there. I don't know, but I guess as something parting that I want to make sure everyone's well aware of, and hopefully this spreads throughout society is be in the moment and don't let the rest of the world get inside your head and get in the middle of that. Like, we're so attached to everything that's going on this planet that it kind of makes me wish that we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have internet, because as great as those things are, they're not being used in the way that they could be to benefit society. Instead, people, well, I shouldn't say that. It seems like the focus on behalf of the media and society is to use those things for deleterious means.
Yeah.
Either to tear people down or whatnot. So it makes me want to go back to the days when we didn't have them, so that we could refocus on what's important. Like, the best part of this pandemic was the beginning, in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a horrible, horrible situation where people are dying from this,
Yeah.
and I would not downplay that by any means. It's tragic. But the whole forced stay at home was the lockdown, I thought, was fantastic, because it forced families to be back under the same roof again, and it forced all those distractions away out of the household. And like, I taught my kid how to ride a scooter at like 3.5. She's on a 2-wheel scooter, because we went out every day and we just played for hours on end. Like, that was the most precious time that I've ever had with my kid, because I took the time and I had the time to take. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you're in the moment, be in the moment. Get rid of all the distractions, get rid of all the fluff, get rid of all the superfluousness, and focus on giving love and receiving love. And all the other stuff, the politics, the religion, whatever, the science, whatever you want to put in that, just kind of fades to the background.
I think those are some sublime words, and I think everyone should take them to heart. Clearly, this is the best episode we've had yet. But yeah, thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing a little bit with us. Hopefully, we can get you back on sometime in the future. I would love to have a more extended discussion, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thank you for taking part in Low Orbit. I won't hold you any longer.
Well, no, thank both of you. Literally, it was my pleasure and my honor to be graced with your presence and be here to try to push something out into the world. I'm just one person. I don't know a whole lot, but all I know is how to control my life as best as possible, and I'm a control freak. So I wish to push that out there for everybody, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on your program. So thank you.
Of course. If it works, it works. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day. We will see you later.
Good seeing both of you. Tell your sister I said hello.
Of course.
I will.
Oh, wait.
What?
Daly wanted me to tell you hi. She says hi.
Oh, tell her I said hello too. I was gonna throw that in at the last moment, like, tell Daly I said hello, but I didn't know where you guys' relationship status was, so I wasn't gonna be like, hey,
Wow.
But anyway.
I'll let you in on a little secret. We're together.
Oh, I did pick up on that earlier. I just wanted to make sure before I said, like, hey, tell Daly I said hi that you were still together. So now that you're still together, tell her I said hello.
Absolutely.
Right on.
All right.
Gentlemen.
We will see you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
That was a treat.
That was an absolute treat. We call this podcast Low Orbit, but we just soared
Make the
on
title
that
of
one.
this one High Orbit.
High Orbit. So you know how I normally title them, like the last one was Pink Floyd in Politics, Low Orbit, episode 4. This one will be High Orbit, Low Orbit, episode 5. Man, that man is a treat. He knows what he's talking about. Somehow.
Yeah, I I barely talked this episode at all so far, but I mean,
We
I
had to
almost
let
didn't
Wagner shine.
want to. I just wanted to hear what he had to say because I was so impressed by it and like how much sense it made.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, he, yeah, he was saying a lot of stuff that I've kind of found to be truths in reality. And I also wanted to make this evident. I didn't want to cut him off, obviously, because he was just
Yeah.
spitting straight facts, as the kids say. But I wanted to make it evident that even though I personally have found this answer that is objectively there's no meaning, blah, 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 and it sucks and it gets you down sometimes, but I'm not saying that that's the way it has to be for everyone. I'm saying that I'm not saying that a person cannot find meaning in life. Ooh, I just hit the shit out of this desk. I'm not saying that a person cannot or should not find meaning because we live in an inherently meaningless world. I encourage people to find meaning because I mean, life is difficult when you don't have something like that to grasp onto.
Yeah.
That's why, like, even though traditionally organized religion, has been responsible for some pretty heinous things, I do think that it's a wonderful sort of vice for people who need that to latch onto in their life. Because, again, I kind of just feel like I'm floating through this thing, kind of figuring it out. But, I don't want other people to experience life in the same types of ways that I do. Like, it's hard because, like, I want to throw myself into something to get to attach myself to give me that sort of meaning, but in my mind, even if I do that, I know in my head it's just pointless and futile, because even if I latch onto that fully, like, I still know objectively that this is just a vice of sorts.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've talked about this a ton on Low Orbit already.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I encourage other folks to go out, find what works for you, find that meaning, and just chase the passion, have a good time, don't take things too seriously, and remember your place in I have a little baby hair sticking out. Remember your place in all this. Stay humble. I think it's easier to be kind when you remember how little we can be, but as Wagner said, even though we can feel very small, there's a lot to be enjoyed in the human experience.
Yeah.
And when I was saying my piece, I didn't mean to discredit that at all. I wholeheartedly agree. And I think that's what I was trying to say when I kept saying, oh yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, I agree. But I was kind of not dumbfounded. Well, a little bit dumbfounded. Half dumbfounded, half kind of awestruck at this guy's take on life.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Sorry for the cut. We had a little incident where I opened Spotify. I had a little incident where I opened Spotify over our stream, and that caused some issues. But Ethan, you wanted to tell a story about something goofy?
So Wagner's in a portable classroom. Lab days, you switch classrooms. So for those of you who been to high school, I'm assuming that's everyone, almost everyone listening to this. Your lab rooms have certain safety precautions, like the shower, the eye wash stations and stuff, right? And one of the days we had finished a lab early and we were chilling in the classroom, and we had convinced Wagner to let us pull the shower, like to turn it on. And So the one kid goes, he was gonna stand under, and then he was like, no, he didn't. And then he pulled it down, and it showered, but the water was brown, like solid brown, and it just poured out. We had no clue why, but it was just brown.
Probably because the
and
last time it was used was
disgusting.
1956.
Yeah, I figured, but man, it was horrid.
Did it smell?
No, it didn't. It was
Oh.
just discolored in it.
Oh, good. Kind of like pus. Does pus smell? Have you ever smelled pus? I haven't.
I don't think I have. I believe pus is just white
Or even if I
blood
like
cells.
pop a pimple on my face, I can't smell it. But
I got. Oh, what?
no, please.
I was just gonna say I got
Sciences.
some gross pimple popping stories.
Oh God, do we want to hear them?
I don't know. It's not too bad, but like you know how, at least for me, if I have a pimple on my face and it's ready to pop, I'll pop it. I'll look in the mirror so that way I know what I'm doing.
Right.
Right.
As you do.
Some popples are a little stingy.
Pomples.
The pimples, some of them are a little stingy, and I remember it was a really small pimple, and I was trying to pop it, and I couldn't, and then finally I did, and it shot on the mirror.
Oh, what?
Because it is so high-powered.
Dude, that's wretched.
I'm sure that that's happened to someone else here.
Oh my God! Look, it looks like I'm crying. That's how disgusting your story was.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh my God, dude. I don't have pimple popping stories that bad. Sometimes I pop a pimple and it like bursts, like with a little bit of force, but I haven't had high velocity warhead pimples.
Well,
And I like how immediately after Wagner leaves, we're way back right into the orbit again.
Yep.
Right into the bottom of the barrel of
it's
conversation.
because you need a guest to level us out, you know?
A smart guest to level us out.
That's right.
Um,
Brilliant.
Yeah. What do you think of that segment that we had discussed where we like bring just anybody on and get their perspective on life? What do you think about that? I feel like there's a lot to learn.
I feel that segment could be very good, but I also feel like when someone listens to Low Orbit, you know, you listen to our first 3 episodes and you kind of get the vibe like we're here to make you laugh, you know?
Right.
Like
Well,
that's what we want.
I think philosophy and humor are a great combination, and we could sprinkle some.
I
little-
agree, but I feel that, I mean, like I'm okay with that segment. I think it's very interesting, but I also feel like some people might just get bored by it.
Yeah,
So
we don't have to do it all the time. But hey, the reason I
But I
bring
mean-
it up on air is because if you're listening and you have
there's
something you want to
comments.
say
There's comments down there.
about it, you can comment or you can message one of us because our fan base is
Privately.
just our friends and family right
That's
now.
right.
Or you can message the Low Orbit account actually on IG.
I don't even have access to that.
Dude, I gave you the login,
Yeah, but that was on my old phone.
but I told you what the password is.
I don't remember. Oh, I might remember. I don't know.
Anyway,
But yeah, message us. We would love to get ideas of something you'd like to see. Anything that'd be, you know, a funny little goof and gaff to do.
yeah, we asked for feedback multiple times. I want to make sure I'm not peaking the audio. We ask for feedback all the time, and what do we get? Nothing. What do I get on the last episode? Comments of people trying to get me to take shots for the interview.
I gotta say, we got the most views on that. There was 57 people, I think 57 or 51 people who watched that, and we only have 17 subscribers. So to the what I don't even know
Does
what
it
is that,
have like
33?
50 something views already?
Yeah, so for the 33 people who watched that and didn't
gonna pull it up.
subscribe.
You just made Ethan mad. When he gets that close to the camera, boy is mad.
It makes a difference. It gets us one step closer to showing up on your friend's recommended page.
But again, it's that age-old struggle of, do we really care about getting big? Because like,
We don't, but
hey,
it's nice.
I know Mr. Wagner was talking about doing things not for yourself and giving and giving. I'm doing this podcast for myself. Just gonna be honest. I'm doing it to build my creative process. I'm doing it to build my skills and all that. I'm doing it to build my relationship with my dear sweet kid brother.
Right, sure. But I feel, even though you are being very selfish about your reasons for doing this podcast, in a way it is still giving back. Because we have made people
with our profoundly stupid conversation.
Yes.
We are giving back.
Yes, we are.
But that doesn't mean I'm like opposed to growing big. Should we? I would love to collect revenue off the podcast.
That would be nice, because that's something, you enjoy doing. I enjoy doing this, so it's nice that if I would be able to make money off of it, but I'm not doing it for the money.
This is water, by the way.
I'm not doing this because I want to make money off of this.
Well, I mean, clearly, because we're not making money right now.
We're not. But there's always a starting point. I'd be fine if we only get 100 views a video for the rest. As long as there's
100 views? That's a big prediction, man.
I'm just saying,
knowing
that I'm giving to someone.
Okay, we have...
Oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, show off your thin hair.
We have 51 views. If dabbing was in style, I would do it.
But it's not, so you're still gonna do it.
I'm not. Good job, people. I just hope... I don't... And this sounds stupid, but I don't care, how many people it reaches, how many views it has. I'm going to censor that out. I'm going to put a pixel sensor or like a sensor bar over your whole thing.
Do it.
Yeah, 51 views. I just hope people are enjoying it. That's my only fear, is I feel like sometimes we record these and then like it feels good and then I upload it and I'm like, oh God,
I feel
like it's stupid.
Last episode was a very subjective episode. You kind of had to
That's a polite way of putting it.
You kind of had to like Pink Floyd to enjoy that episode. Or
that's
you
why
had
I
to
got
be a political person.
That's why I had gin. Spice it up.
That's why he had gin.
Spice it up.
So if you're coming over from that episode, I hopefully this one did not bore you as much.
That was not a top episode that we did, but
no, it was
good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the worst, and it was fun because it was our new video format. And should we? I'm wondering, should we use Zoom from now on to record, or should we keep using Discord?
I feel... Well, I do believe Discord had a higher audio quality.
I think picture quality, too.
We could, and then for certain guests, just on their preference, not everyone uses Discord. So...
Well, let's put it this way. I mean, yeah, we're only using Zoom for this episode, I should point out, because Wagner wanted to use Zoom over Discord, which is, he has it already, and for his distance learning and all that, so much easier. But just bringing it back to audience feedback, let us know what looks better, I guess, or sounds better. I don't know if there's an audio difference. I guess I'll find out when I'm editing it tomorrow. But let us know, folks.
Maybe the Waggy Wagon will get back to us.
I
just wanted to say it.
I hate that you said that, and let me tell you something else. I know he hates that you said that.
Yeah, I never said that to him in person, and I made sure not to. But I remember Michael talking about one time how he used to call him Waggy, and then so I started calling him the Waggy Wagon. Of course, never to his face. And if for some reason you watch this episode, Mr. Wagner,
I hope he does. I will be sorely disappointed.
It's not a regret. I'm glad that I did it. It brought me joy.
He expressed to me in the DMs, and I won't I won't say what he said, but he articulated to me that if you have called him Waggy, or whoever has called him Waggy, is just not. It's just a silly thing to say. We'll leave it at that. And as his opinions do not reflect the RUSD school board or
it does
that of
not.
Low Orbit.
No, it does not.
But to be honest, he had some good opinions, and RUSD would be lucky to have his opinions reflect them. I have nothing left. You had something that you wanted to pull up? Is that
Yeah,
right?
this is just a little something I saw. It actually happened in Redlands, so you guys know.
What is this, like a news story?
Yeah, it made it to the news. But this is just a man trimming a tree, right? But
I'll be the judge of that.
it happened in Redlands, California, where most of you are around or living. Just know, me and Aaron aren't the only stupid people around here. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here. I believe this should work. I'll go ahead and get audio here, too.
Let's see.
Is that good? Can we see this? Is this good?
Yeah, we can see this, and we can see ourselves as well. So go ahead.
Lovely. Okay, so here we go. Oh, my God.
Is this an ad?
yeah.
Dude, do you have us watching an ad live on the podcast?
Forgive me. Forgive
All
me,
right,
Lord.
well,
I did not know.
hey, Caesar Minis. They might be good for you, they might
Anyways.
not be. Here we go. Oh my God, he hung on.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. How I have so many questions.
Well,
I have
because
so many questions.
this man cut the weight to the tree, so...
No, I understand how the result that we're seeing, I understand how it happened, but how did he scale the tree is my first question, because there's no ropes and there's no...
I know how to do this. Please forgive me for the quick swap of
Bring up the story.
Camera angles here.
I need to know how that happened.
Elaborate. What do you mean? How he was just
how did he get up the tree?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna show you.
I need to know how he got up there.
I recently purchased a very high quality software.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Here we go.
Okay, so this is your... Oh, that's not brown. So you have a palm tree, right?
This is brilliant that we can do this.
Oh yeah, this is beautiful.
Maybe we should use
Lord
Zoom
have
for
mercy.
like little segments like this. Go on.
But you have a palm tree, right? Let me just make this accurate. So what people have is it really just looks like this, right? And it wraps around the tree, and it's like little foot holders, right? So you lift one leg up, and then you like lift it up, and then that's gonna go up there, but this one's still down here, but it stays, and you kind of just walk up the tree.
I see.
You're
now,
like,
the only reason I know this is because you hang hammocks in a similar fashion. You just kind of put the rope around, and then the tension holds the tree in place, or holds the hammock in place.
It's something like that. It
But,
just kind of...
See, I'm familiar with that. I should point out that this is a god-awful representation, and people who don't know what this is are not going to know what you're talking about. I bet.
But, yeah, they might, though. So then, you cut this off. That's where all the weight of the tree is.
Yeah,
so
no, yeah.
This fool just swung.
Okay, close this off, man. Get us out of here.
Okay.
I'll
try and pull up a photo of what they actually look like.
I just want to know why that man thought it would be... So when he climbed up it and he got to the top, the tree drooped down, and so he knows his weight is doing that.
Apparently not.
In addition to the palm head, and he cuts it off. Is there no shortage of imbeciles around?
I mean, apparently not.
Did you find a picture?
That's a very low-res photo.
Let's skip the picture, man. If you're interested, look it up. What's the name of the device?
I just searched up tree climbing shoes.
Look-
You'll get the gist of
Look up
it.
tree climbing rope shoes, and I'm sure you'll find it. Thank you for tuning into Low Orbit. Let's record next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should keep the consistency.
I want to give a very, very special thank you to Mr. Wagner, though.
Yes.
Very, very pleased that he could join us to put
Balding.
some time aside from his life for a couple of goofballs and knucklehead mixed bazitrons like ourselves.
We're all goofballs.
And thank you to you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Hopefully,
My pleasure, my
learn
treasure.
something. That's a stupid saying.
Is for me.
I love the meme of the emoji where it's "is for me."
Is for me.
I think that meme is so funny.
Well, maybe next time we'll do an emoji tier list. Get
Foreign
it?
country finds oil. USA is for me.
Get it? Because we cut the emoji tier list from our last episode. We had like 6 tier lists lined up and we didn't do them. Thank you for tuning into Low Orbit.
Bye.
This is us going back to the space station. It's a poor analogy. This should have ended a long time ago.